I just finished milling out some white oak to 13/16, which is the size of the frames for the Haven. Now, because of the way that the boat is constructed, that there are several frames that need to be added after the boat is flipped over. So that's what we're going to do. First is to get those frames into the boat while we're waiting for my friend Shauna to show up to get that lead keel attached later. Install after planking is what the plans call for a couple of frames in the boat. So I've got a couple of frames to add in the front and a couple of frames to add aft. So first we'll get started with adding the frames at the bow of the boat. Well, that's it for the stem end of the boat. Got those frames in. You can see that they did not need any bending at all. They're actually pretty straight pieces. That is not the case for the aft end. So we'll need to get the steamer out so that we can steam the frames to fit in there. So that's what we'll get started on next. So I'm looking around to see if I could find something that was smaller than my big steam box. I didn't really want to bring that in and get it all set up for just a couple of frames. So I had a leftover piece of hose that is used for the dust collection system. So I think that I can use my wallpaper steamer and then put those frames inside of there. That way, actually, even if it was a smaller frame, I could adjust this to make it a smaller chamber. So anyway, I'm going to figure out how to plug up the ends and hook up the steamer, and I'm going to use that as my steam chamber. I found this connector that goes to the hose, and then this steaming piece came with the wallpaper steamer, so it had the fitting on there. So if I cut that off, and I think I can fashion that in there somehow, so that should work pretty good. So I'm using a wood burner to melt the plastic together. The way I know that it'll be secure. All right, that should hold it pretty good. My little fitting on there. So we'll get it hooked up. Well, we've got some steam generating here, so we'll put our frame stock in there. Plug it with this rag. To steam oak, the rule of thumb is for every inch of wood, it needs to be in the steamer for 1 hour. So since our wood is just a little over 3/4 of an inch, 1 hour should really give us plenty of time for it to soften up. So in the meantime, I'm going to set up some staging with my clamps and so forth in the boat, and also I'm going to trim off the other frames at the shear. So I just clamped a small block of wood in here that's notched out so that when the frame falls into there, it'll have a place to grab it. Now I had taken a small block of wood that I had measured the angle that the frame would hit the stern knee so that that can slide right in there like so. So the other thing I've done is I've spaced out these spacers exactly how far away it needs to be from the frame so that when I bend it in there, it can lay in there properly. Because actually, this frame doesn't go in in a perfect line. It actually curves out just a little bit. So with these on there, and I put those on there with some double stick tape so that they'll stay put as I'm doing this. And then once the frame is in here like this, then I'll be able to clamp that in place. So let's see if those frames are ready to come out of the steamer. So I had mentioned earlier that my friend Shauna is going to come by and help me anchor the lead keel onto the boat. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for her, she should be here in about an hour or so, I'm going to spread the bedding compound on the bottom of the boat. And you can see I've got it lifted up and blocked so that it's safe. And so the bedding compound I'm going to use is called dolphinite. And nobody really knows what's in dolphinite. I can tell you it smells like linseed oil. But it's a tan material, and we're going to spread that on top of the keel, and then I'm going to set the boat down on it and get ready for when Shauna comes to help me with the bolts. I'm just going to clean up a little bit of the squeeze out. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is to put a little bit of cotton around the washer so that it will seal it. Okay, Shauna, go ahead and start turning. That sounds pretty good. I'm going to see. Yep, perfect. All right. Looks good. Well, after we got done, we rewarded ourselves with a cup of coffee. Shauna and I routinely would have breakfast together and coffee, but since COVID, we haven't really seen each other for 9 or 10 months. So it was really nice to catch up with her and to have some time that we could socially distance and have a nice conversation and to share a cup of coffee. I really appreciate her help. Thanks again for your help, Shauna. Drive safe. So I'm really amazed at how much squeeze out there was once we got the keel bolted on there. You would think that the weight of the boat when it came down on there and it goes out would have been all that there was going to be. But apparently the keel and both the wooden and the lead keel flex enough that there's quite a bit of squeeze out. As you can see here, how much there is. So I'm going to go through here and clean this up. Well, that's it for getting the ballast keel attached to the boat. So the next thing up is to put in the shear clamps. So that's what we'll be doing on the next episode. So as always, thanks for watching The Art of Boat Building.